You may have seen some of the protests going on in Spain at the moment, specifically Mallorca, but especially Barcelona, with regards to tourism. Apparently, the locals there are staging protests with regards to tourist presence and spraying them with water guns and so forth. Now, I can understand that a load of British young men might be annoying when they're going on holiday and getting drunk, and I'm sure it's not nice having your cities overrun and maybe you feel like you're losing your culture somewhat. However, this is an issue for their local government, not for the tourists themselves. Yet, what's the most interesting thing about all this is the protesters are getting a sympathetic ear from the liberal media, but listen to what they're complaining about. They're stating their rent is out of control, they're saying they feel their culture is being eroded, and they're losing their towns and cities. Doesn't that sound familiar? I mean, these are the exact complaints that many people in Britain have about members of the third world coming here, but of course we've got the wrong skin colour to make a complaint and are evil, racist, toxic people. And second to that, many of us aren't convinced that our new arrivals from Somalia and Karachi really do add a significant boost to the economy. Yet it seems many of the Spanish should be careful what they wish for here, because they'd be wise to remember that in 2023 alone, tourists brought in 10 billion to the Barcelonian economy. And in 2021, the figure for the whole of Spain was over $34 billion. Remember, many of these local economies are completely reliant on tourism. And of course, with tourists, you can limit the amount of them coming if it's becoming an issue, or maybe fence off certain areas of your country that tourists just can't visit, or even give the police more power to crack down on bad behaviour. But most importantly, the tourists are going home. Many of us in the UK would find that preferable when London itself has become only 36% white British at this point. But, and this is according to The Guardian, so take it with a pinch of salt, the Barcelonian people have chosen migrants over tourists. The article continues with a quote from Lolo Lopez. She's an immigration minister there. She states, "The image of the city that the people themselves have projected is of a place of welcome." But that's only if you're a migrant sponging off the state from Eritrea. If you're from Stockton-on-Tees, you can pack up your suitcase and get the hell out. But the jewel in the crown of modern multicultural Barcelona is known as El Raval, according to The Guardian, also known as Ravelstan for its sizable Pakistani population. Yet despite El Raval having warnings for tourists going there as being dirty and unsafe as well as being full of drugs, a local councillor in Barcelona states El Raval has its own identity and its own way of dealing with things. Everything starts here. Many social phenomena appear here first and then spread. We're a social laboratory. There's a massive level of immigration here, but on a day-to-day level, there's no conflict. Not even after the terror attack last summer. Oh great, well I'm glad you're all getting on swimmingly after a terror attack. Yet as much as the administrators of Barcelona seemingly like to gloat about their amazing multicultural city, just read the stats. In 2000, foreigners accounted for less than 2% of the population. 5 years later, the figure was 15%. In 2018, it's now 18%, although Lola Lopez thinks it's closer to 30%. And a couple of important points here. Firstly, you've got a 12% differential between what you think the immigrant population is and what it really is. That is only going to grow, and then you're really going to feel the benefits of so-called enrichment. And secondly, while these figures are still ridiculously high, they're absolutely nothing compared to the figures in London and Paris and Berlin and so forth. So let's see how wonderful and welcoming Barcelona is once they've kicked out all of the tourists and around, say, 50-60% immigrants from the third world. Somehow I don't think it's going to be a bed of roses, do you? And just finally, you'd think the city of Barcelona, as well as the country of Spain, would be more cautious about letting in so many people from the religion of peace, given in their history they were ruled by the Muslims for many, many years and had to fight very hard to get their country back. But then I suppose I'm just a stupid bigot who doesn't understand the wisdom of diversity. Personally, it seems a good idea for me for the European nations to stick together. We have a common enemy in the globalist agenda right now. However, if the Barcelonan people and Spain wishes to go this way, all I can say is good luck. These are just my thoughts, however. Do let me know what you think down below, and do consider subscribing to the channel.